good.
Everything's good here?
Yep.
Okay, great.
discounts.
Yes, yes.
Okay. I was down there. That's what I figured last year. Yeah.
After you look through that.
Exactly where we live. He said he called that. I saved it 2 minutes.
Oh, no, you don't need to pull it up here. I just went behind this.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well. All right. We're going to call the public comment meeting to order. We'll start with a roll call, Ms. LeBreau.
Ms. Blanks? Here. Ms. Cantor?
Here.
Mr. Davidoff?
Here.
Ms. Fay's absent. Mr. Gold? Here. Ms. Kerrigan's absent. Mr. Sweeney? Mr. Winograd? Here. And Mr. Williams?
Thank you, Ms. LeBreau. We have communication from Stephen Rancourt of 298 Fern Street, West Hartford, regarding taxation in West Hartford. I'm just going to, am I supposed to read this, or is this just for me to understand? Okay, thank you. So, under the standing rules, Mr. Rancourt is going to address the council, and he has 5 minutes to speak. There will be no further comment from the public or discussion of members of council. This is just for us to receive comment. Mr. Rancourt?
Thank you very much for having me tonight. We've lived in West Hartford for the past couple of years, my 2 daughters and my wife, and we've really enjoyed it. So please do not take this opinion as commentary on our happiness with the town. But wanted to talk about taxation today. And this will be probably a little bit of a different take than you're used to hearing. And I'll start with the logical and maybe a little bit of the moral arguments for my proposal. I am a former Republican, and have come to the realization that per this article I've handed out to you that there is an economic inequality crisis in the United States and probably globally as well, and believe a lot of that is driven by privilege hoarding. And that is well described in this New American Aristocracy article that was in the Atlantic a couple of years ago. And the privilege hoarding is largely signaled by income and by wealth. And that's something that is, pretty much I believe held in common across the Democrat primary candidates that are campaigning tonight in New Hampshire. And the nice thing about income and wealth is it actually can be mathematically quantified. Unlike global warming, it's not science, which is difficult to derive, requires experimentation, and is subject to a lot of subjectivity. And so, as we think about this math in West Hartford, I think the median income, the global median income is $10,000 per year. The American median income is about $60,000 a year. Connecticut's 80, and West Hartford's 100. So pretty substantial number. And I think what's interesting about the inequality that we have in West Hartford and in the Hartford area in general is that I don't think we can blame it on the billionaire class. The tech billionaires are not in the Hartford area. The finance billionaires are in Fairfield County. And I think what the article I handed out tonight really gets at, that it's really the professional class. It's the affluent class, the upper 10%, which I am a part of. And the article goes into describing the privilege hoarding that occurs among this class, and in 5 minutes I won't be able to describe that tonight. But one thing that I find interesting is I think there's a general belief, this is one of the reasons we moved to the town, that West Hartford is a progressive town. But if we look at our taxation system, and it's been studied by various nonprofit groups, the property tax is largely a regressive tax, particularly by income. And I think that's potentially problematic if we are trying to live progressive ideals. And what I would say to that is we have it's a flat tax. We have not asked for more from our wealthier residents. West Hartford, the town, does have an ability to do that. There is the grand list, which quantifies wealth of property. It is available. And easily compiled. And I know there's a lot of conversation at the national level around national wealth tax. We've, I'm sure, all heard that in the media. But I don't really think that's a great idea. There's constitutional concerns, administrative complications. We have a $20 trillion debt, $1 trillion deficit each year. I think a wealth tax would just be paying for that. If the parties change, it could pay for war, may not pay to help solve inequality. And morally, I would say it shouldn't go to wealthy communities such as West Hartford, or we wouldn't say it probably should go to Greenwich. I would say it probably should go to the Mississippi Delta and other places in the country that don't have high income earners to frankly help out. And so under my proposal, I'll get to that in 1 minute, someone like me would pay $2,500 more per year. That's a vacation, maybe shopping at Trader Joe's rather than Whole Foods. Maybe not going out to a restaurant with my family once a month, or not that I do this, but not getting a luxury handbag at the Coach store. And that's money that could be used for someone for childcare in town, early education, or just the daily tasks of survival. And so, I would like to ask the town council to consider, and if not, possibly consider a referendum on you could call it whatever you wanted, a wealth tax, a privilege tax, but a 1%, let's call it a privilege tax on every dollar above the median grand list amount. That would be mathematically logical, because if you're mathematically contributing to inequality if you're above the median. And it's moral. A lot of all the religions, I think, agree that wealthier individuals should pay more. And I think as a town, we agree that to be a progressive town, we should not probably have a regressive tax. And so to wrap up, I'd like to say, as we look ahead to election season, as we are holding up our signs for our candidates, a lot of times in this town for the Democratic Party, that we think about what are the policies we have in our own town, and how do they support the politics that we are espousing at the national level, and what can we do to just tilt the dial a little bit, not a revolution, but to tilt the dial a little bit in West Hartford, and potentially use the tens of millions of dollars that such a tax would generate to fund such programs that would disproportionately benefit those below the median level. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rancourt. Okay, so with that, we will adjourn the public comment, and we will open public hearing. I'll call the 6:15 public hearing to order. This is an application 1445 to 1459 New Britain Avenue. Application filed on behalf of FWCT Corbin's Corner Shopping Center LLC, owner of 1459 New Britain Avenue, located with Special Development District SDD number 6, 1445-1459 New Britain Avenue. The application seeks approval for a renovation of the shopping center, including alterations to the existing building facades, construction of an approximately 2,550 square foot addition to the rear of Trader Joe's, and either the demolition and replacement of the now vacant Jared Jewelers building with a new 7,360 square foot restaurant building with outdoor dining, or the redesign of the existing building's exterior to accommodate a restaurant use and outdoor dining. In addition, associated improvements, including the reconfiguration of the parking layout, installation of new landscaping, lighting, and pedestrian amenities, and changes to the sign criteria and SED conditions are proposed. Roll call, Ms. LeBrun.
Ms. Blanks. Here. Ms. Cantor.
Here.
Mr. Davidoff.
Here.
Ms. Fay is absent. Mr. Gold. Here. Ms. Kerrigan's absent. Mr. Sweeney. Here. Mr. Winograd. Here. And Mr. Williams.
Here.
I'd like to read in for the record, letter dated February 10th, 2020, from Attorney Robin Pearson, who is in the audience, requesting hearing be continued. I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearing to February 25th, 2020 at 6:15.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. All right. We have a little time before our next public hearing. Thank you.